Hey guys, it's Shelby, otherwise known as Shelbizleee here on YouTube, and you guys have been asking me to make a holiday version of an anti-haul, so here it is. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know this is definitely not my living room. If you've been watching me since last year, you know I do not participate in this sort of array of decorating. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today. I'm not here to ruin everybody's holiday spirit, especially not my sister's, because I've always been one to say that minimalism and zero waste should never mean that you give up something that you truly love, that makes you happy, that brings you joy. My sister looks forward to Christmas all year so she can put these decorations up. But there are better ways to do it, and there are some things that probably don't bring you real joy that people are not realizing and people are just buying into. So that's the approach I want to take with today's anti-haul. I asked you guys on the community tab to tell me some things that you've noticed that are super wasteful, so I will be including some of those. So before we get into it, make sure your notifications are on so the next time I need help making a video, you can help a sister out. Alright, let's get started. If it wasn't apparent before, I hope that it is apparent now that my sister loves Christmas. Regardless of if I love the holiday or not, I definitely do not love all of the consumerism, all of the junk, all of the trash, all of the waste that comes along with Christmas. So I'm going to read some of your responses to my question about what are you anti-hauling this holiday season. You guys let me know which one is your favorite, okay? First one is from Sarah, and I could not agree with her more, and she's talking about those gingerbread house making sets. I'm just wondering, anybody watching this video, have you ever bought one of those sets from the store, made a gingerbread house, and it actually turned into a house? Literally every time I've been around when someone tried to make one, they are so shitty, they just fall apart. It's one of my sister's 4 cats. Hello. But seriously, they always fall apart and no one eats them after they're made, so then they just get thrown away, and that's pretty shitty, I have to say. I wouldn't take away that gingerbread houses are fun and maybe like a family tradition to make a gingerbread house with your family of sorts, I don't know, so I'm not just gonna be like, don't ever build a gingerbread house, but maybe look up how to make one from scratch, or that's better quality, or that will actually turn into a house, because the ones I've seen in stores, it just doesn't happen. Okay. That's all about the gingerbread house. Next one. I'll be switching back and forth from things that you guys reminded me of and things that I thought of myself. So this one that I thought of myself is how much food gets thrown out on the holidays, during the holidays, whatever you want to call it. Everyone celebrates holidays a little bit differently and has a little bit different traditions and ways that they do things, but my mother's traditional way of doing things is making food for about double the amount of people we're gonna have. Maybe dare I say, triple the amount of people we're going to have. She does this knowingly, and then whenever she has to throw food away, like so much food away, after a few days, it's like literally nothing to her. I think that making more food than you need comes from a place of love and wanting people to take stuff home and being generous and all that sort of stuff, but let's also be a little bit sensible and conscious of how much stuff we're wasting and also how much time and money and effort we're putting into making things just to throw them away. In my household, my mom is the one who does most of the cooking at our house, and to just throw all that away seems so sad and like just pointless, you know? So I definitely urge everyone to make sure they are eating the food that is prepared and not preparing more food knowingly than you're gonna need. And don't just throw it out. There are people almost everywhere. Give it to your neighbors, give it to your friends, give it to your kids' friends, give it to your cousins' friends, give it to the guy down the street who doesn't have any food. Don't just throw food away, you guys. That's literally, it should be a crime, and in some countries it is. So don't do that. Okay, now let's talk about the decorations of the holidays. Probably the thing that annoys me more than all the rest of it. And we're gonna talk about something called planned obsolescence. Planned obsolescence is something that companies do to make you think that you're getting an okay quality product for the price that you're paying, just enough to where you go out and purchase it again when it inevitably breaks because it is planned to obsolete, plan to break, plan obsolete. Are you catching what I'm saying? At this point in the United States, at the epitome of consumerism, it seems like buying a strand of lights to use 1 year is something that most Americans are saying okay and yes to. One light on a string of 200 lights goes out, and who's gonna take the time to go through each little bulb and fix that bulb when you could just go out and buy a whole new one for $10 or $20? Literally no one. I don't know if my experience is different, but do you guys find that your family is doing things like this? Because mine is. Beyond the example of one of the lights going out and you not being able to find it, the lights are much more easily breakable. As a matter of fact, you can see I'm at my sister's house. Yesterday we were putting up Christmas lights and she's trying to use those big chunky, like kind of like vintage Christmas lights. but it's a version that's not vintage, it's new of course, so the glass is much worse quality. It's very thin, and literally the lights get hot so fast that the second that light bulb hits anything, it completely bursts. Companies are making such shitty products and selling them for such low prices because the consumers will buy into it. They'll buy that shitty thing, think, oh, it lasted me a season, I really liked how it looked, I'll go out and buy it again. And I started thinking about this because I really love the look of those chunky Christmas lights, and I was like, where do you find good quality Christmas lights? Like, I don't even know. I'm almost tempted to say don't buy any modern day Christmas lights because they're just all so shitty and practicing that planned obsolescence that I talked about, and it's not something I want to support. So I actually hopped on eBay and found that there are some vintage Christmas lights that are chunky like that, and I'm bidding on a couple right now, so we'll see how that goes. But things just used to be made a lot better back in the day, and it's definitely important to be aware of it because we are paying these people to make throwaway products. There are so many products out there today that are made for the landfill, so you will turn around and buy it again and make them more money. And I would encourage you not to participate in it at all, but especially not in the holiday season. Speaking of decor, one of you guys said on my post where I asked you what you think is so wasteful, someone said excessive Christmas lights because of the waste of electricity. And I could not agree with that more. To be completely honest with you, it seems like a lot of people these days are decorating their homes, decorating their porches, decorating their yards, etc., literally to post it to Instagram. We are living in a very interesting moment in time where someone can go out and buy something that is perceived to be cool, post it on social media, and based on the likes and comments that you get on that, you feel like you have done something cool, something worthy. I don't know, it makes you feel popular for people that I don't even know why you care about. Honestly, I don't get it. You guys, it's hot. This is November in Texas. But seriously, trying to have the best house on the block with the most lights, wasting the most energy is a pretty wasteful thing to do. And I don't really mean to be a buzzkill, and I'm not anti-hauling all Christmas lights. I'm just saying some people are taking it way over the top, and it's honestly a fire hazard, a health hazard, like my vision hazard as I'm driving, and it's wasting a lot of electricity. So maybe we just take it down a notch. To those of you out there who are doing way too much. Okay, so this next one Amy reminded me of, but my sister, my half-sister, which I never really talk about, but I have a half-sister, she asked us if we could do it last year, and I about lost my damn mind. We already know how crappy gift exchanges can be when there's a number limit set to like $10. Please let me know what you're going to buy for $10 that someone is genuinely going to use and not throw away, especially when it's something that they haven't asked for. Most of the time you may not know the person, and there's like some other weird thing you have to follow, like a color or something like that. Well, some people have taken it even farther, and they started something called a saran wrap game. And Amy reminded me of this, but like I said, my half-sister said that we should do it this year. Last year she told us we should do it this year because she did it at one of her other side of the family's Christmases, and it was just so much fun. Literally, you guys, people buy presents and then wrap them in this huge ball. I mean, we're talking like this big because you have to fit like dozens of presents in it. And then they pass it around a circle on Christmas, and whatever comes out of the saran wrap as you're unwrapping it, that's the gift you get. So now we have not only the shitty presents that likely no one wants, but we're wrapping them with, my sister literally said last year she used like 6 boxes of saran wrap. And then we're just throwing it away, like that's fine. It's just fine, just give me, okay. It's not fine, it's not fine. Please don't do stupid shit like this. Nothing bothers me more than stupid shit like that. It's not fun or funny to wrap something in plastic. I mean, maybe you think it is because you're not thinking about the impact that it has on the planet. But it's not fun or funny, and I would encourage you to educate the people in your life about why it's not fun or funny, and try to come up with more creative ways that are not as wasteful or damaging to the planet. I mean, yeah, please don't do that. I'm anti-hauling that stupid shit. Alright, so this is completely my fault. I let it get too late and it's starting to get cold, so I'm outside on the porch to get better light with my man Rudolph here to name off some of the other ones that you guys told me about that I definitely wanted to include in the anti-haul, and say thank you so much for helping me with this video, because it's actually Tuesday night. I never usually wait until this late in the night to record my videos for Wednesday, but obviously I'm at my sister's, I'm traveling, I've been out of town for almost a week now, and I didn't have time to come up with all the ideas, so I really appreciate you guys. Just kidding, there are people walking by who will probably judge me for talking looking at my camera on the porch. But there's also this Rudolph, so we're still joined by Rudolph, which is a different one. So something very common around Christmas is tinsel. It is literally little plastic strips that you drape all over your Christmas tree. No one picks them off. No one takes the time to pick them off. I think it's a little less common now because so many people have fake trees and no one wants to pick it off, so they don't put it on the tree anymore. But if you have a real tree, some people will literally put that plastic on their trees and then just take their trees out to their dumpster or wherever they're going to throw them away, and then that plastic just gets blown around in the wind and Lord only knows where it goes. So even if you have a Christmas tree, please skip the stupid little plastic tinsel. I anti-hauled single-use shirts in my last anti-haul, but also single-use sweaters, the ugly sweaters that Walmart is even selling now. Used to, an ugly sweater just meant you went to literally like a thrift store or your mom's closet and got an old ugly Christmas sweater. Now we're making new Christmas sweaters that are ugly and people are wearing them once and then throwing them away. Please don't buy into that. Please encourage other people to not buy into that, because I know a lot of the times the people watching these videos are not the ones doing these things. But let's try to inform people about the better ways we can do this, better ways you can still kind of participate in ugly Christmas sweaters. You can go to a thrift store, you can order them on eBay, Poshmark, literally anywhere. Just don't buy shitty ones from Walmart. Mercedes brought up overly decorated Christmas presents where people box something in a paper that can't be recycled because it's mixed with plastic, and then they put a bow on it, and then they put a ribbon on it, and then they do all this stuff to it literally just to hand to someone and then to tear it apart. I think that is pretty stinky crazy and definitely needs to be anti-hauled. There are wrapping papers out there that are not mixed with plastic. I would encourage you to look for those, but there are also tons of other ways to sustainably wrap your gifts. I'll write a blog post about the options that I have found recently and leave it in the description if you want to see all of the options for more eco-friendly wrapping paper or ways to conceal a present. Ethel brought up the point that tissue paper is not recyclable, which is completely true. The fibers are too small, so if you're putting your tissue paper in your recycling bin, don't. I'm not 100% sure if it can be composted or not, but I do know that it can be reused. So if you are using tissue paper, which you could probably do without, but if you do use it, at least reuse it. And last but not least, Allison is reminding us about all of the insane amounts of junk mail that we get this time of year for all of these stores trying to tell us about the sales that we just cannot miss. If you guys haven't seen my video about how to stop your junk mail, definitely check it out. I'll link it up here in the little cards. But that's going to be it for today's anti-haul. I do have a ton of other Christmas holiday videos coming. I'm sorry this one was not up to my more recent quality, but I promise I have a lot of things coming for you guys. I appreciate you hanging with me. And remember, until next time, you cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that you can do. Bye, guys.